All right, so we're diving into DeepSeek-R1, incentivizing reasoning capability in LLMs via reinforcement learning.
Yeah, this one's really got people talking.
It's definitely a dense paper.
It is.
Luckily for our listeners, though, we're here to break it down
Exactly.
and really try to figure out what it means for the future of AI.
Yeah, particularly for all of you folks out there
Yeah,
working on large language models.
absolutely.
So this paper, what's really exciting is it introduces not one but two new reasoning models.
Oh, wow.
DeepSeek-R1 and DeepSeek-R1.
Okay.
And these models, they're really pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
of what AI can do,
Uh-huh.
particularly when we talk about like complex reasoning tasks.
And they're building on this foundation model
Yes.
called DeepSeek V3 base.
Uh-huh.
But the real magic here is in how they're training these models.
Yes.
Using reinforcement learning.
Reinforcement learning.
RL.
Exactly.
We've seen this applied to games like Go.
Yeah. Chess, Go.
Chess. But applying it to complex reasoning and language models.
It's a whole other ballgame.
A whole nother thing.
It is a whole other.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because instead of relying on just labeled data,
Yeah.
they're using this system of rewards
Okay.
to kind of guide the model's learning process.
Interesting.
You can imagine like setting up a series of complex puzzles
Uh-huh.
for this model to solve. And if it gets closer to the solution, it gets a reward.
Okay.
So over time,
I see.
the model learns to prioritize actions that lead to those rewards. And
So it's like almost like training a dog. Right.
exactly.
With treats.
You got it.
Like if they,
Positive reinforcement.
yeah, positive reinforcement.
Exactly.
If they do the trick, they get the treat.
And then they learn to do the trick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I imagine it's more nuanced than just giving the model like a digital cookie when it gets something right.
Oh, absolutely.
The researchers had to actually like really carefully design a reward system
Yes.
that encourages genuine reasoning
Real reasoning.
rather than just like, you know,
Finding shortcuts
finding shortcuts to get the
to
reward.
maximize rewards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like that whole thing, reward hacking,
Reward hacking, yeah.
which I know is a big hurdle in RL research.
Absolutely a major hurdle.
Yeah.
And they really tackled this head on with DeepSeek-R1.
Uh-huh.
What's remarkable about this is it learns purely through this really carefully crafted RL process
Okay.
with no pre-training on labeled data.
Wow.
So it's learning from scratch.
Okay.
And yet it still demonstrates this ability to adapt its approach to different problem complexities.
Wow.
They even talk about how it has these aha moments where it changes its strategy mid-problem.
That's fascinating. It almost sounds like it's developing metacognition,
Right.
like it's aware of its own thought process.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
The paper does mention that DeepSeek-R1 has some limitations. Outputs were not always very user-friendly or readable.
Yeah, makes sense considering it wasn't trained on human-generated text.
Right.
That's where DeepSeek-R1 comes in.
Okay.
Addresses these limitations.
Right.
So it incorporates a multi-stage training process,
Mhm.
starting with a very small amount of initial training data,
Okay.
what they call a cold start phase.
The cold start phase.
Yeah, gives the model a little head start in understanding human language patterns
Okay.
and generating more readable outputs.
So it's like giving it a basic grammar lesson before throwing it into the deep end
Exactly.
of these complex reasoning tasks.
Yeah, a little bit of a primer.
But they didn't just abandon reinforcement learning altogether, did they?
No, they didn't.
Okay, good.
They used it in two key stages for DeepSeek-R1.
Okay.
First, they fine-tuned it specifically for reasoning tasks.
Okay.
So things like solving math problems
No.
or writing code.
Okay.
And then they applied RL again to really refine its outputs.
Okay.
Make sure they were helpful and aligned with human expectations.
That's a good point because there's always that concern about AI generating harmful content
Absolutely.
or biased content.
Absolutely. It's a big concern.
So it's nice to see the researchers being very proactive
Yes, definitely.
about addressing those concerns.
For sure.
Let's talk about performance, though.
Yes.
How do these DeepSeek models actually stack up against the competition?
Well, get this. DeepSeek-R1 performs on par with OpenAI's O1 1217.
Oh, wow.
which is significant because O1-1217 is a top-performing model.
Okay.
When we're talking about complex reasoning tasks,
So DeepSeek-R1 is right up there.
right there with it.
Wow.
We're talking about AI that can potentially solve complex scientific problems, optimize algorithms,
Yeah.
even contribute to new theoretical discoveries.
Really?
That's the potential we're looking at.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, it is.
But we also have to think practically.
Of course, yeah.
Training these large AI models requires a ton of resources,
Oh, yeah, massive computational resources.
which I imagine puts it out of reach for a lot of researchers
Yeah,
and organizations.
smaller companies, individuals.
Right.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Does this paper address that challenge at all?
It does, and this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, good.
The DeepSeek team, they experimented with distilling the knowledge from DeepSeek-R1
Okay.
into smaller models based on Quen
Uh-huh.
and Llama architectures.
Okay.
These are much more accessible models,
Right.
require significantly less power to train and deploy.
So they're basically trying to create like a more efficient, concentrated version of that powerful reasoning ability.
More efficient package.
Yeah,
Without sacrificing performance.
exactly. And the results were remarkable.
Really?
Even these distilled versions with a fraction of the parameters
Uh-huh.
were able to achieve really impressive reasoning capabilities.
Wow. Often outperforming much larger models that hadn't undergone this distillation process.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool.
This could be a total game changer for making advanced AI accessible
Huge.
to a wider range of users.
Absolutely.
Startups,
Yeah.
academic researchers, even like individual developers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opens a lot of doors.
Opens up a whole world of possibilities
It does.
for applying these cutting-edge reasoning capabilities
Yeah. To real world problems.
on real-world problems.
Yeah. That's the goal.
It really highlights the fact that AI performance isn't just about like brute force
Raw power.
and massive model size.
Yeah. Just bigger isn't always better.
Right.
It's about how you design that training process, how you optimize the architectures, and finding these creative ways to distill the knowledge into more efficient packages.
We've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored kind of the motivation behind DeepSeek,
Yeah.
the architecture of these models,
The models
the
themselves.
use of reinforcement learning.
Innovative use of RL.
Yeah. And then those really impressive performance results.
Yeah, some very cool results.
But we still have a lot to unpack.
We do. So let's get into like the nuts and bolts here
Yeah.
of how these models actually learn to reason
Uh,
using reinforcement learning,
Right.
like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
It's all about the rewards.
right.
And the DeepSeek team took a very interesting approach
Okay.
with DeepSeek-R1
Yeah, you mentioned before this whole idea of avoiding reward hacking,
Right.
which is like a fancy way of saying
Yeah.
they didn't want the AI to just game the system
Exactly.
and get those rewards without actually
Right.
learning to reason effectively.
Yeah, without really doing the work.
Right.
So how did they achieve this?
Yeah. How do they pull that off?
Well, one key decision was to avoid using neural network-based reward models
Okay.
for DeepSeek-R1.
Interesting.
I mean, neural networks, they're super powerful.
Yeah.
But they can sometimes find those shortcuts, to maximize rewards
Oh.
without developing the desired reasoning abilities.
Okay, so they basically went old school
A little bit.
with like rule-based rewards.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So for tasks with really clear solutions like math problems,
Uh-huh.
code generation,
Yeah.
they use these rule-based systems
Oh.
to evaluate the accuracy of the AI's outputs.
Makes sense.
If the AI got the right answer, solved the equation correctly,
Yeah.
produced a functional piece of code,
Right.
it got that positive reward.
Okay, got it.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally.
But what about those tasks
Uh-huh.
where there isn't a single right answer?
Right.
Like, how do you even define a good reasoning process in those cases?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
It requires a deeper understanding of the reasoning process itself.
Okay.
So they came up with this concept of format rewards.
Format rewards.
Yeah, which basically encouraged the model to present its reasoning in this structured, human-readable way.
So it's not just about getting to the right answer.
No.
It's about showing your work.
Exactly.
Like a good student.
Like a good student, show your work.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure that AI wasn't just spitting out, correct answers,
Right.
but without a clear reasoning path behind it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And this structured format is really crucial for tasks like debugging code, verifying scientific reasoning, where understanding the why behind a solution is just as important as the solution itself.
I'm still curious, though, about those aha moments that they saw in DeepSeek-R1
Right.
Like, how did they measure those?
Well, they observed that the model would sometimes devote more processing time to those more challenging problems.
Interesting.
It's as if it kind of recognized the need to adjust its strategy based on the complexity of the task at hand.
So it's like pausing.
Like a human student pausing to think harder.
Yeah, when they hit a tough problem.
Exactly.
It really does make you wonder.
That's wild.
About the limits of their potential.
What are they capable of?
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Let's move on to DeepSeek-R1, though.
Okay. Yeah.
The more refined version.
Yeah, the more refined version.
They did incorporate some initial training data for this one, right?
Yes, they used a small amount of cold start data to guide the early learning stages of DeepSeek-R1.
Oh, right.
Remember, DeepSeek-R1 had those readability issues because it was learning purely from rewards.
Yeah.
No exposure to human-generated text.
Right. They gave DeepSeek-R1 a little leg up, basically.
Yeah, a little bit of a head start in understanding human language patterns.
Gotcha.
But they still used reinforcement learning to train this model, right?
Yeah, they didn't just abandon that, did they?
No, not at all. Okay.
Reinforcement learning played a crucial role in two key stages.
Okay.
First, they used it to specifically enhance DeepSeek-R1's reasoning capabilities on tasks like math and coding.
Yeah.
This involved carefully crafting those reward systems that encouraged the model to generate accurate and efficient solutions.
And I imagine those reward systems had to be even more sophisticated for DeepSeek-R1.
Much more.
Considering it was working with the foundation of human-generated text already.
Absolutely. They had to account for not just the accuracy of the solution, but also the clarity, the coherence, the overall quality of that whole reasoning process.
It sounds like a real balancing act
to
make sure the AI is learning to reason effectively.
It is.
But also maintaining that human-friendly communication style.
It's a tough challenge.
Yeah.
What about the second stage of RL?
Right. You said there were two.
Yes.
You mentioned they used it to refine
the model's outputs.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in this stage, the focus shifted from pure reasoning ability to making sure that DeepSeek-R1's outputs were helpful and aligned with human values.
That's such a critical piece.
It is.
Especially as these AI models get more and more capable and more integrated into our lives.
Yeah.
We really have to make sure they're not just intelligent, but also responsible and trustworthy.
Yeah, trustworthy,
Huge considerations.
All right, let's talk about another really cool part of this research.
Yes.
Distillation.
Distillation.
We touched on it earlier.
We did.
Remember, the DeepSeek team experimented with taking that knowledge from that big DeepSeek-R1 model.
Huge model.
And transferring it to these smaller, more accessible models.
Exactly.
Like Qwen and Llama.
Yeah.
More resource efficient.
Much more.
Yeah.
This distillation idea is really fascinating. It's like creating this concentrated version of that powerful AI.
A more manageable package.
Yeah. What were the technical challenges there? And what were some of the key findings?
Distillation involves very carefully selecting and transferring the most essential knowledge from that larger model to the smaller one.
Okay.
It's not just like copying and pasting, it's really about identifying those core elements that are contributing to the model's reasoning capabilities.
Interesting.
And what they found was that even these distilled models with a fraction of the size were able to achieve remarkable performance.
Really?
It's amazing.
So they managed to create these smaller models that could actually outperform.
Potentially, yes.
Much larger models that hadn't gone through this distillation process.
Exactly. It's really a testament to how effective these techniques are.
Wow.
And, it democratizes access to this advanced AI technology. Makes it available to researchers and organizations that maybe don't have the resources. Right.
For those massive models.
So to be a game changer for fields like healthcare.
Absolutely.
Education.
Yeah.
Even like scientific research.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine deploying these powerful reasoning capabilities on devices with very limited resources.
Huge potential there.
Yeah.
The possibilities are vast.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, there's always a but.
There's always a but.
Right.
While these results are very promising, the researchers also highlighted some limitations.
Okay.
And future directions.
Of course.
For this research.
Yeah, because even with all of these advancements, there's always room for improvement.
Always room to grow.
With AI.
Absolutely.
What are some of those key challenges that they mentioned?
One area they highlighted was the need for further improvement in the model's general capabilities.
Okay.
You know, DeepSeek-R1 excels in those reasoning tasks. But it still lags behind models like DeepSeek V3 in other areas, like function calling, multi-turn dialogue.
More complex role-playing.
So there's still a gap between those really specialized reasoning abilities.
There is.
And then more generalized AI capabilities.
Right. It hasn't quite bridged that gap yet.
What other limitations did they point out?
They also noted that DeepSeek-R1 is primarily optimized for Chinese and English. Which can lead to issues when processing other languages. They acknowledge the need for more robust multilingual capabilities.
It's an important thing to consider.
It is.
As AI becomes more globalized.
Absolutely.
We really have to make sure these technologies are inclusive and accessible to folks from all different linguistic backgrounds.
Very important.
Yeah.
And the good news is the DeepSeek team is working on ways to address these limitations. They're working on enhancing the model's general capabilities, improving its handling of multiple languages, and also refining its sensitivity to prompts to ensure that performance is more reliable and consistent.
Well, that's good to hear that they're not just resting on their laurels.
No, they're not.
They're continuing to...
And pushing forward.
Yeah, push the boundaries.
Absolutely.
This DeepSeek project really showcases just how fast innovation is happening.
Yeah, the pace is incredible.
In the field of AI.
It really is.
And it also shows the importance of collaboration.
Yeah.
And knowledge sharing.
Openness is key.
In driving this progress.
Absolutely.
I mean, the fact that they open sourced these models, making them available
to the community,
to the wider AI community,
is fantastic.
It's really commendable.
It is.
It fosters that culture of openness and collaboration.
For sure.
And it allows researchers from around the world
all over
to build upon this work.
Exactly.
And accelerate the development of even more powerful and versatile AI systems.
Yeah, it's the goal.
So as we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive into DeepSeek, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the broader implications of all this.
Yeah, what are your big takeaways?
What stands out to me is the potential for this technology to really democratize access to these advanced AI capabilities.
Huge.
Those distillation techniques they've developed could make these powerful reasoning abilities available to just a much wider range of users.
I agree.
Sparking all sorts of innovation in fields far beyond traditional AI research.
Absolutely.
It's like giving this powerful telescope to astronomers all over the world.
Love that analogy.
Suddenly, everyone has the opportunity
to
make those groundbreaking discoveries.
It's really exciting to think about.
It is. And it's a future where AI is no longer confined to the labs of these big tech companies, but it's accessible to anyone with a good idea and the drive to make a difference.
Exactly. Anyone can contribute now.
I think that's the real power of AI.
What is it?
Not just to automate tasks
or
outperform humans, but to really empower humans.
To empower us.
To amplify our creativity.
Yes.
To help us solve those really, really big problems.
The world's most pressing challenges.
Yes.
I love that.
That's an inspiring thought.
It is.
It makes me feel good about the future of AI.
Me too.
As we move forward, though.
Yes.
It's important to keep exploring these advancements.
Absolutely.
Not just from a technical perspective,
no,
but also from a societal and ethical standpoint as well.
You can't forget about those aspects.
Yeah, we need to make sure these tools are developed and deployed responsibly.
Responsibly.
With a real focus on fairness. Transparency. And human well-being.
Human well-being above all.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that AI is not just a technological pursuit.
No, it's not.
It's a human endeavor.
Absolutely.
And its success really depends on our collective wisdom.
It does.
And our ethical choices.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, this has been a fascinating discussion, and I hope our listeners have a deeper understanding now of the groundbreaking work that's happening with DeepSeek.
Really cool stuff.
It's really a testament to the incredible ingenuity.
It is.
And just relentless pursuit of knowledge.
Yeah.
Within the AI community.
We're going places.
We are.
That's for sure.
I can't help but wonder, though, as we wrap up this segment.
Yeah.
What's next?
What is?
For DeepSeek and for AI as a whole.
That's the exciting part. You never really know.
It's true.
What's coming next.
The pace of innovation is incredible.
And it's relentless.
It's relentless.
And there's always something new and exciting just around the corner.
So stay tuned, folks.
Yeah.
The AI revolution is far from over.
It's just getting started.
And we'll be here to guide you through every step of the way.
We'll be here.
We've gone deep into, the technical stuff with DeepSeek.
Yeah, all the nuts and bolts.
And all the exciting potential applications.
Yeah, where it could lead us.
But as we wrap up this deep dive,
yeah,
I think it's good to take a step back.
Yeah, zoom out a little.
Look at the bigger picture.
The bigger picture, exactly.
What does this research tell us?
Yeah.
About where the field is headed.
Where we're going, what it means for AI.
And what are some of the key takeaways?
Yeah, for the folks out there actually working with AI.
They're the AI practitioners like yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For me, what really stands out is just the sheer power of these innovative training techniques.
Yeah.
Really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
It's not just about building a bigger model anymore.
No,
They're fundamentally changing how these models learn.
Right.
And how they reason.
Yeah, how they think.
It's almost like they're shifting the focus from brute force computation.
Raw processing power.
To something more like cultivating intelligence.
Yeah, carefully shaping it.
Nurturing the model's abilities through this reward-based system.
It's a fascinating approach, and it seems to be working.
It is. It's producing some really impressive results.
It really is, and it makes you realize we're still just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Of what these systems can do.
Absolutely. It also highlights, I think, the importance of having these interdisciplinary collaborations in AI research.
Oh, for sure.
We're seeing ideas from cognitive science, psychology,
even philosophy.
Yeah.
All feeding into how we design and train these AI models.
It's not just a computer science problem anymore.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about understanding the nature of intelligence itself.
That's the core of it.
And that requires people from all different backgrounds.
Absolutely. A diverse set of perspectives is crucial.
Absolutely. And I think that's reflected in the DeepSeek project's focus on making this technology accessible.
Yeah, democratizing it.
Distilling the knowledge into these smaller models.
Yeah.
They're making it available to a wider range of researchers.
Right, to more people.
Developers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a huge step towards breaking down those barriers.
Walls that used to exist,
And fostering this more inclusive research environment.
A more collaborative ecosystem.
Yeah.
Where everyone can contribute.
Absolutely.
And I think that's just so crucial for the long-term progress.
Yeah.
And responsible development of AI.
For sure.
When more people have access to these tools, we increase the chances of actually finding solutions to real problems.
It's like giving that powerful telescope to astronomers around the world.
I love that analogy.
All of a sudden, everyone has a chance to make these groundbreaking discoveries.
Precisely.
Who knows what applications we'll see when these capabilities are in the hands of all these creative thinkers from different fields.
It's really exciting to think about.
It is.
A lot of potential out there.
So much potential.
DeepSeek is really just the beginning.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see even more of these innovative approaches to AI training.
Yeah.
Knowledge distillation in the coming years.
This paper has generated so much buzz.
Oh, yeah. It's got everyone talking.
In the AI community.
A lot of excitement.
What are you personally most curious about moving forward?
Well, I'm really interested to see how these techniques can be applied to more complex real-world scenarios.
Okay.
For instance, how can we use these models to help with scientific discovery, medical diagnosis, even creative endeavors like writing or music composition?
Yeah, it's about moving beyond these very neatly defined problems.
Yes, textbook examples.
Right, and tackling those messy, multifaceted challenges.
The real world is messy.
That we face in the real world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that requires not just powerful reasoning, but also an understanding of context, nuance, human values.
DeepSeek is a significant step.
It is.
In that direction.
A big step forward.
We still have a long way to go.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Like with any powerful technology, there are ethical considerations, potential biases to watch out for.
Always.
And those societal impacts to really think carefully about.
Those are crucial.
Absolutely.
Responsible AI development means we need to have these ongoing discussions.
Yeah.
collaborations between researchers, policymakers, the public.
It's a team effort for sure.
It really is.
We have to make sure that these advancements benefit everyone.
Absolutely everyone, not just a select few.
It's a good reminder that AI, it's not just this technological pursuit.
No, it's not just lines of code.
It's a human endeavor.
Yeah, it's about us.
And its success ultimately depends on our wisdom.
Our choices.
And our choices.
Well said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I hope everyone listening has a better understanding of the incredible progress.
The amazing work.
The challenges.
The hurdles.
And just the vast potential of AI.
The possibilities are endless.
This is really just the beginning.
It is.
The world of AI is constantly evolving.
At an incredible pace.
And we're all part of this journey.
We're all in this together.
So stay curious, everyone.
Yeah, keep exploring.
Keep pushing those boundaries.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to make that next big breakthrough.
You could be the next pioneer.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode.
It was a good one.
I hope you found it insightful.
Yeah, and engaging.
And engaging.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Keep learning.
Keep innovating.
And keep diving deep
into this fascinating world of AI.
We'll see you out there.